It took 60 seconds and I gave a topic as to this is the topic I want to speak about, and it gave me a presentation in 60 seconds. So that is this presentation, and that is how things are moving as of now. So how the example of Netflix, why I was talking about Netflix was because adaptability is something which is very important. Whether you are coming into this institution or from this institution, if you go to a scenario of a corporate culture, adaptability is something which is a very, very important thing. So it is not that what you are studying that is there in the corporate. Corporate is altogether a different story. Obviously the basics would be clear, there would be a lot of jargons which you will hear in the management school, which you will use in a corporate life also. But the culture might be totally different. What is working there might not be like what you might be thinking that I will go and maybe on first day only hit a 6. Actually, that might not work like that. So first you have to get there and understand what is the culture of the place, what is the thing where the company is focused on. That is very, very important for you guys when you hit the corporate actually. So adaptability is something which you should carry with yourself. The second trait is that of problem solving. So one big problem, actually that's another problem with our education system itself, that you get a question paper and then you are supposed to give an answer. So as soon as the question comes, you will read the question and start answering. That's how the school, college, everywhere that is what is taught to you. But in corporate, it is not like that actually. So nobody will give you a question as such. They will say there is one problem, so we are trying to identify. So what is the problem? That itself has to be identified by you. Nobody is going to come and tell you how many countries are there in the world. It is not so straitjacketed. The problem itself identifying is something which you have to learn. In corporate, more than the communication itself, how you are putting up that point, that also is very important. I'll give you one small example. You would have heard about a company called Kodak. Anybody has heard about that company or? Yes, camera. So Kodak makes camera, they were world leaders in cameras. And before you people were born maybe, at that time there was a film which was there actually. So we used to purchase a film roll. Roll was fixed in the camera and we used to click the picture. And then that roll used to go for development. And then you get a printed photo. देखा आप लोगों ने किसी ने? Before the digital photography and all came, the camera was there. Roll, film. So Kodak was a market leader. And then you would be aware that then the digital photography came and then phone cameras and all came and they got bankrupt. Okay. So you would be thinking that when the digital photography was coming, so they could have also got onto the digital photography. What you would not be aware of is that the digital photography, the invention was done by one of the engineers of Kodak named Steve. Okay. So this guy developed a digital photography and went and with a lot of enthusiasm presented it to the management of Kodak, saying that I have created a filmless photography. Okay? Filmless photography. That was the name which he gave to a digital photo. So Kodak was surviving on films for the last 100 years, and here comes one guy saying that now I have come up with a filmless photography. So everybody said, what nonsense, get out and don't even tell about this to anybody. For the next 20 years, they did nothing about that. Maybe some small development was happening, but they did not focus on that particular line of business. And that is where they are. So the message which I want to tell you is that one is communicating, but how you communicate, how you put your point, that is very important in corporate scenario. The next thing, these are all basic things, but obviously very, very important in a corporate scenario also. Teamwork, collaboration and teamwork. You would have heard that, oh, this is very important. But the problem with all of us, I am saying all of us, including me, you and all. Our upbringing is like a musical chair actually. Musical chair, you have seen? What happens in a musical chair? Everybody goes around, and then there is a music, then one chair would be removed, and then people will be sitting, and whoever is not having a chair is out. Other people will start playing. Very good game. The message in the game is that for you to be successful, other person has to fail. Correct? Hello? If you have to win, somebody else has to lose. This game of musical chair is played in Japan with the kids actually in a very different manner. Same setup, you have number of chairs, there is a music. The only difference there is that at the end of the music, they will remove one chair, that also is same. At the end of the music, there should not be even a single child standing. You have to adjust that child within your own space. And the winning team is at the end of the game, when the number of chairs are minimum, maximum children on the chair is the winning team. So the message automatically 360-degree is against that, which says that for me to win, I have to ensure all others also win. So the message is altogether different actually. So we feel that teamwork is very easy, very important. But when we get into the group, we have to understand in corporate especially that if you have to win, you have to take everybody together. So the underlying thing is that in an office scenario also, collaboration and teamwork is very, very important, and that is something which people who come from academic line, they lack most of the times. This is something you should imbibe as a quality in yourself, trusting others, working in a team, that you should start maybe in the academic life itself. So in corporate, normally what happens in an academic scenario in a college, etc., what we give importance to is IQ actually, intelligence, the intelligent quotient actually. As soon as you get into a corporate life, it becomes a EQ actually. EQ is emotional stuff where you have to manage a team, how you have to understand what other person is feeling, all those things have to be understood by a manager. But one more thing which is very, very prominent in a technological scenario is called AQ. AQ is adaptability quotient. So what is adaptability quotient? So the technology is moving. Say technology is at say 8. So you cannot be above the technology, you cannot be at the technology. There will be a gap between where you are and where the technology is. So what happens is, say today technology is at 8, you are at say 6. Tomorrow if the technology goes to 20, you have to be at 18. So this gap between where the technology is heading and where you are, that is called this adaptability quotient. You need to keep adapting, keep adapting. You cannot be stagnant in technology. You have to keep adopting. Whatever new is coming, you have to keep reading, understanding what is happening, and keep adapting to the technology. So this is also very, very important, digital literacy and adoption to the technology. So this movement from IQ to EQ to AQ, this is very, very important for you guys to understand and keep that in mind as to where we have to use this actually. So earlier, when I started my career, etc., so the thing was at that time was that you study for maybe 20-25 years and then earn for 35 years. That is how 60 ka jo breakup hota hai, 25 and 35, that is how everything used to happen. Maybe your parents also might be in that same thing. But now what has happened is, over a period of time now, everything is getting outdated. So every 2-3 years you need to keep upgrading yourself. You cannot be that I have done my MBA and all and now I can earn for another 35 years. That will not work. That will not work. In a corporate life, you have to keep upgrading. Every 2-3 years, you need to again go back to the school, again go back to the books, understand what is happening, acquire new skills. Otherwise, you will get outdated and somebody who knows AI and some manager who will know AI, he will outthrow you. So keep learning. This is a very continuous journey. This is not a one-time thing kind of a thing. And whatever time span you have, whether this 2 years or maybe the time ahead, The time is divided between two things actually. I think you should you will anyway doing, but you should cautiously do it actually. So it is called a shift from one E to another E. One E is entertainment and second E is education. The more you shift from entertainment to education, overall time is limited. Within which, the more you can shift from one E, which is entertainment, to the another E, which is education, that would lead you to the success, whether in your MBA or your corporate life ahead. That is all from my side. Thank you and all the best to all of you.